I stream live on Twitch every single day at twitch.tv/itsaaronwl. Thank you. Hey guys, the TWAB is here, and it's going to be a pretty big, juicy one, so we're just going to get right into it. I don't want to take too much of your time, but I'm going to try to pick apart this as much as possible. So let's get into starting right here with this week. We'll be talking about power, blue drops, gunsmith reputation, some shifts in exotic sources, and more. Over the next few TWABs, we'll be talking Vanguard rep, Gambit reworks, weapon crafting, and Void 3.0, but not necessarily in that order. Don't forget the patch note previews and additional weapon tuning details. It'll be a fun time, and hopefully it will give you some things to chew on each week. We may even have a trailer or two to share with you before launch. If you haven't been on social media in the last week, you might have missed this. Just kind of shows off Savathun's Throne World. But let's get into the power is yours. In the realm of Destiny, power is not only a measurement of your Guardian's general abilities, but a consistent gauge for players on whether or not they'll be able to tackle a given challenge. While the Witch Queen won't feature a big overhaul to the ways in which you gain power, we do have some general updates coming on launch day to get returning and new players up and ready for a fresh campaign. First, let's talk about some definitions. Some of you may know these by heart, but we're always excited to introduce new lights and returning players to information like this. Floor, the lowest possible power for a piece of gear, starting point for new characters. Soft cap, the point at which the general drops being automatic upgrades. Powerful gear drops are now the best way to gain power. Power cap, the point at which powerful drops stop being upgrades. Pinnacle gear drops are now the only way to get power. And hard cap, max possible power for pinnacle drops, ignoring artifact power. Starting on February 22nd, the power floor will be updated to 1350. Any players who sign on in the appropriate power levels will start the Witch Queen campaign, even if they've taken a recent break from the game. That's cool. I like how they do this a lot with a lot of their campaigns, so I'm not actually, I'm not really surprised with that. Though through general gameplay, players can reach the soft cap to 1500 by earning general gear through activity completions, chests, and more. This includes rare and legendaries. Once reaching the soft cap, players will need to earn powerful drops from vendor challenges and other objectives in the game. Once reaching the power cap of 1550, the only upgrades that players will find are from the in-game activities that offer pinnacle rewards. Your final stretch to the hard cap of 1560 will be through raids, Trials of Osiris, Iron Banner, and other in-game PvE resources. There will be some adjustments to pinnacle and powerful sources as these shift yearly to focus on newer seasonal content and fresh Destiny 2 expansion content offered with the Witch Queen. Keep an eye on tooltips as you start completing activities, as they'll specifically note the different types of rewards that they offer. We have no doubts that our more eager players will create guides within a week of launch, but we hope that the power climb is fairly easy to understand once you get your boots on ground on February 22nd. So yeah, pretty much everything that we already knew. They're just gonna update the power drops, change a few things. They do this every time there's a new expansion or a big expansion, well, typically. So nothing really too juicy with that, except we do now know that the soft cap is 1500. That's a huge jump. So like my Guardian right now is at 1330. It will be at 1350, which means 150 light levels are just the soft cap. Honestly, if you play the game right and you know like how to stack, you might even be able to get 1500 on day one, like really fast if you know what you're doing. So designing the economy is easy, right? No, absolutely not. Nothing in the game design is easy, especially when tackling the various currencies and exchanges that Destiny 2 offers. This week we'll be driving in with the economy feature lead, Joshua, speaking to some exciting changes on behalf of the team. Okay. Beginning in the Witch Queen, blue rare rewards will stop dropping from playlist activities, Crucible Strikes, Gambit, etc. once players have reached the soft cap. Players above the soft cap 1500 will instead see a slightly increased chance at receiving legendary rewards from these activities or a small amount of legendary shards. This is really good. I think a lot of people were complaining like we should have an auto dismantle blues thing or something of that nature. Now we're not going to have to worry about that, which is really good. Blue weapons and armors will continue to drop from enemies and chests while playing Destiny 2, but we hope that this will reduce the need for players to manage their inventories and reduce the frequency of visits to the postmaster when running playlist activities. Very true. A lot of times I'll be playing Crucible or something and I'll have too many blues, or so this definitely helps. We have some work ahead of us when it comes to the rarity as a subject in Destiny 2. While blue gear helps players increase their power earlier in the game, we want to look at their place in the overall game. We aren't expecting any major changes in the next few seasons, but we will be spending some time behind the scenes thinking about the future of rare drops all up. I just think after soft cap, if you get a blue, or if it's just not highest light, it just auto dismantles into whatever they're doing. So, Gunsmith rep. Banshee 44 is getting a new reputation system that matches the other vendors in the tower, such as Zaval and Shax. This means we're removing some of the items that were previously associated with Gunsmith rep, namely Gunsmith materials and weapon telementaries. Players will now earn reputation rank progress with Banshee 44 when dismantling legendary and exotic weapons and armor, or by completing daily Gunsmith bounties. Players will want to spend their Gunsmith materials and weapon telementaries at Banshee 44 before February 22nd, 2022. Any materials that are not spent will be removed from inventory automatically. Wow. From inventory. So, I mean, does that mean if you keep it in the vault, you'll keep it? I mean, are we going to need that again? I don't know. Some people say it could come back. And look, Mars and Mercury, if you still have those reputation or resources, then they might be useful if they do come back with Witch Queen. So, mods and mod components. We will also be removing mod components from the game, starting with the Witch Queen weapon and armor mods sold by Banshee 44 and 801 respectively will no longer require mod components to purchase and will instead cost 10,000 Glimmer each. Furthermore, as part of this update, we are increasing the number of mods available on each vendor at a single time from 2 to 4. That's really, really good, because there's still, like, I need quick charge, I need a lot of mods, so getting more at once is always fun. Before we move on, it should be noted that all ghost mods that generated weapon telementaries will be removed, as they no longer serve a purchase. These are the mods right here. Raoul's taking over. As we've mentioned in the past, Master Raoul will be inheriting Spider's material exchange duties in the Witch Queen. Exchange rates should match what you know from Spider for now, but these services are being shifted to the tower as the Tangled Shore will soon be off limits to Guardians. In addition, Raoul will also be picking up some of the wares that Banshee 44 and 81 once offered, specifically the sale of enhancement prisms and ascendant shards. As noted above, this makes space for more mods to be available for purchasing during a given week. Raoul will offer these materials at the same price as Banshee 44 and 801 once sold them. Enhancement prisms, ascendant shards, nothing different with that. So here we go. As a final note before we move on to some exotic news, Master Raoul will also be able to decrypt umbral engrams, so players will not have to hop up between the helm and the tower to decrypt all the engrams in their inventory. Focusing for individual seasonal weapons and armor will live on seasonal vendors in the helm moving forward. So if you want to focus on a specific weapon from a given season, you will still need to head to the helm for decryption. Well, that's a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. It's really not a big deal. They still want to make the helm somewhat useful, which I understand. It's a whole new area. I don't know why you wouldn't disconnect the two, make it possible to run up and down between, but it is what it is. I'm not too worried about that. Hawkmoon and Deadman's Tale. As of February 22nd, 2022, the Harbinger and Presage exotic missions will no longer be available. The team still wanted to preserve the ability for players to obtain random rolls of these weapons. Therefore, instead of adding these items to the monument to Lost Lights, we have done with most of our previous exotics that no longer have sources. These two weapons will show up as a part of Xur's inventory each weekend. Ooh, that's different than what I thought. Every week, Xur will sell a unique roll for both Hawkmoon and DMT and will be purchasable to all players that own Beyond Light for the following materials: 1 Ascendant Shard, 1 Exotic Cipher, 125,000 Glimmer, 200 Legendary Shards. That is extremely expensive. Wait, before you go, what are those exotic catalysts? Oh, that's something fun. The Hawkmoon, DMT, and Aegir Scepter catalysts will be moved to the playlist activities. That's what I figured. In addition to these three, we have also added the ability for the 3 catalysts that have been absent from Destiny 2 to draw from playlist activities as well. I don't know. Oh, they say it right down here. The full list: Hawkmoon, DMT, Aegir's, Outbreak, Whisper, and Fourth Horseman. Outbreak and Whisper the Worm have both had the requirements for completing their catalyst updated so they can be completed without access to the original activities. Very nice. I like to hear that. So makes sense that that's going to be how it is. They did that. They keep doing this every season. They'll make a catalyst or whatever, and they just put it into the playlist activity. So not exactly surprised. Okay. Save the raid date. The Witch Raid Queen has a new raid. Surprising? Now, while we still have a bit of time before the world first race begins, we wanted to get a rally flag planted in the sand for when you should expect to be taking on the challenge. Season of the Witch Queen raid. Redacted. March 5th, guys. Mark your calendars. Raid date. There it is. I think that's 2 weeks after the release. So we'll have additional details on contest mode, Bungie rewards, and other need-to-know information closer to the date. Until then, get in those time-off requests. If you're still in school, we do not advise faking sick notes from doctors or lying to your parents. Go to class, do your homework, ace those tests. Be a good student, conquer the raid boss that is the essay due next week. Raid prep can be an evening activity. We'll be proud of you either way. Nice. And then this is the update that they put out. Here is the movie of the week. Second one. There's our art of the week. Okay. This is just a little bit of clarification before the end or whatever at the end of the season. Iron Banner bounties will not be removed at the end of the season. Bounties acquired and completed at any point during this season will be retained after the Witch Queen releases. Note, bounties retained from seasonal loss will be capped at 1350 power and not give players any bonus power next season upon redemption. That's good. That's actually really good to know. Now that we do know that, I think I can just pop the Iron Banner ones instantly and get the XP and the weapons or whatever. They're not going to be pinnacle, I think is what they're trying to say here. These bounties will be removed at the end of Season 16 as Saladin will be taking his turn in our rollout and vendor reworks. Final note, because I have you here, our final Iron Banner of the season will be during the final week of Season of the Lost. Seasonal bounties related to Season of the Hunt, Chosen, Splicer, and Lost will be removed at the end of the season. Bounties from the Tangled Shore destination will be removed. Some daily bounties from general activities or destinations may be removed depending on objective or reward balancing on a per bounty basis. Example, a handful of the Drifter and Gunsmith bounties are being looked at alongside some vendor work. No, oh dear, did we just confirm the Drifter is getting a pass? Well, this shouldn't be a surprise. We are tinkering with Gambit in Season 16. More of that in the future, TWAB. That's really nice. So just be a little careful when stacking bounties, at least for Drifter and Gunsmith, as they're getting changed a little bit. But that's all there really is in this TWAB, guys. It was pretty juicy, pretty good info added. But I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.